They weren't out of the woods by any means. They still had plenty of time for snow. Some years, winter seemed to last until almost May. Atlee rubbed first one hand and then the other on his pant leg to create some warmth. He must have left his gloves at home that morning. He'd have to remember to search for them. Frostbite or cracked and bleeding fingers were no fun, that was for sure and for certain. Atlee's stomach rumbled louder than the clip-clopping of the horse's hooves. He hoped Mom or Melinda had cooked a big pot of beef vegetable soup or chicken noodle soup. He could almost feel the hot broth sliding down his throat. Maybe his younger broodars, Ray and Roman, would have finished helping Dot with the chores by now. He still missed Sam. Older by 2 years, Sam had married Emma Swarry in November. He would probably be a Dot before too long. Atlee's only sister, Melinda, 2 years younger, already had a beau. She'd gotten over Isaac in record time. Now she and Sam's best friend, Timothy Brenneman, were courting. That was all hush-hush, of course, as was the Amish way, but everyone expected Timothy and Melinda to end up married. That was probably a big part of the reason Atlee held no grudge against Isaac. If his little Schwester had been weeping and moping about, forgiving Isaac for hurting her would have been a lot harder. Maybe Atlee should heed the advice he had offered Isaac earlier. Maybe he should check out the visitors at Sunday's singing. He hadn't felt ready to settle down before, but those settling down feelings had been stirring more and more of late. He shook the reins to get the horse moving a little faster. "Come on, Star, we're almost home." Star. What a name for this big, sleek beast. Too bad Dot had let Melinda name him. Even if he did have a tiny white star-shaped spot above his eyes, he deserved a more powerful name. Catching the lights of an approaching vehicle in his side mirror, he slowed Star and tried to scoot horse and buggy over as far as he could toward the edge of the country road that had no shoulder to drive on. Most Englishers who regularly traveled this road looked out for buggies and patiently waited to pass them. Every once in a while, though, someone unfamiliar with the area, or someone in a big hurry, made travel downright scary. Since he was able to see around the curve up ahead, he leaned out of the buggy to signal the driver that it was safe to pass him. Slowly, the van drove up beside him. Before Atlee pulled his head back into the buggy, he returned the driver's wave and locked eyes with the passenger in the back seat. Becky? Of course it was Becky. No one else had hair the color of honey dripping from a hot, flaky biscuit and eyes a brighter green than his own. Had she returned home to stay? He smiled and waved again, but she dropped her eyes and withdrew into the shadows of the van. Brr! Atlee shivered as he closed up the buggy. He didn't know what was frostier, the air or Becky Zook's attitude. The girl in the van did not act like the flirty, flighty girl of a few months ago. He wondered what had happened to subdue that carefree spirit, sort of akin to his own. Atlee shrugged and urged Star on again. No doubt any news about Becky would trickle down the grapevine soon enough. Gut. It looked like his broodars were finishing up the chores. He should be able to get away with simply parking the buggy and caring for the horse. Great timing, Roman, his 16-year-old broodar, called as he exited the barn with 13-year-old Ray on his heels. You managed to show up right when we're finished. Atlee shrugged. It couldn't be helped. I had to work a little later. Sure you did. Ray tried to scowl, but ended up grinning. Atlee thought Ray was the sibling most like himself. Both of them loved to tease and laugh. I'll have you know I did not stop off any place, but raced right home. Atlee feigned hurt at Ray's remark. Where's Dot? Still in the barn. He told us to go on inside and wash up, Ray replied. I beat you, Roman. Atlee chuckled at his broodar's playful shoving as they sped toward the house. He had half a notion to run, too. The wind's bite had intensified, and with the increasing clouds, full darkness was almost upon them. Atlee finished up at the same time as his Dot, so the two walked to the house together. I've got to find my gloves. Atlee blew on his hands. I probably have an extra...